and
Cool.
we're recording. And you guys ready to start this shindig?
Mm-hmm.
All
And
right.
4, boss man.
Awesome. Well, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Spooky! That music can only mean one thing. It is time for the Open Micers Podcast. My name is Jason Robbins.
I'm Jacob Craig. And for once, I'm not the one that's yoked tonight, guys. One of our guests is the one that's yoked tonight, guys. We are joined by good friends of the show. They've been on several times before. It's Mom Thulu and Jester, Mr. and Mrs. Mike and Jen Eveland. Thank you guys for coming back to the show.
Hello.
Thanks for having us again.
Absolutely. And you guys are the co-hosts of both the Jester Court Pod and the Innsmouth Rag Pod. But we are kicking off our horror month for October. So we're going to focus mainly on the Innsmouth Rag Pod. For people who haven't started listening to it yet and are going to after this episode, just kind of break down like what you guys do for each episode.
So the Innsmouth Rag is a podcast about horror movies, and it's a rag, like a gossip rag, which is where it gets its name from. We watch shitty movies. Some of them are not shitty, but most of them are. I give you a complete and utter rundown of the plot. Then we talk about like the technical aspects, like the plot, the gore. Did it make any sense? Which would be the plot, but anyway, circling. And then we give it a rating. And there's always good banter in there because I yell at Mike a lot in that show. So, you know, it's always nice. It's always nice to get yelled at.
Yeah, I was gonna add marital banter or marital spatting.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, me and Jason have that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I love the show, and finally, it's available on Apple Podcasts now, where it can because I listen to on Overcast, and it pulls from Apple. So I used to have to listen to it on Spotify, and because that was the only place it would download for me. But finally, Anchor seems to have gotten their shit together, and now I can listen to it wherever.
What's weird is I always listen to it on Apple.
Yeah, me too. But also, like, I don't know what it is about Anchor in my podcast, but it like hates it for some reason. And it tells me I only have one listener. And I know I have more than one because Rampage listens to it. Jason listens to it. I fucking listen to it. You know, like, I know there are people that listen to it, but it still says I only have one person listening to my podcast. And I'm like, thanks, my one person.
Yeah, there's something going on with the behind the scenes there at Anchor regarding your podcast. I don't know what's going on with those numbers.
It does the same thing with us too. Like it tells us that we don't have nearly as many listeners as we do because Anchor can actually only verify listeners from Spotify. So what you're seeing is the people you saw Jason when he was listening on Spotify. Jason's your one Spotify listener. So it can give you the confirmed numbers for Spotify, but like Apple, YouTube, any of your other revenues, like it just doesn't show it.
Don't get me wrong, Anchor's a great service, but they get a little wonky with their metrics. But this is backroom stuff. We shouldn't talk about this.
I would never talk about Anchor as a sponsor of my show.
No,
never ever.
No, it's great. We love it. Thank you for free podcast hosting.
Yeah, it's great because it's free, and not
my favorite. Everything is free.
Yes, but it is the Halloween season, and of course, this is coming out at the beginning of October. And one thing I like to do every October, and I'm sure you guys too, is of course the horror movies. And
hell yeah.
My favorite app in the world is Shudder. I always watch Joe Bob every Friday night when it comes on, and so what are some of your go-to movies? Let's start and go around the room. Let's start with you, Jen. And what's the first movie you're gonna watch as soon as October hits?
As soon as October hits, the first movie I want to watch is, oh God, everybody's gonna hate me. I love Dawn of the Dead, the remake in the 2000s.
Yes.
I don't know why I love that fucking movie.
Zack Snyder didn't screw that one up.
No,
Yeah.
it was so good.
Yeah, back when Zack Snyder was a good director.
Yeah.
He made that movie. Yeah.
So that'll be like the very first one, and then there's another one that was like it's so bad, but it's an 80s movie, so Jason probably knows it. It's called Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
I fucking love Sleepaway Camp. So there's my zombie, there's my slasher,
If
and if
you
I'm
wanna
looking
see-
for ghost shit,
A master class and
Oh,
horrible
masterclass.
acting and horrible
Yeah.
acting, go watch Sleepaway Camp.
but it's so good. Oh my god, and just the very last scene, just looking how badly they chopped that in there. Just I
Yeah.
can't even talk about it.
It's just so
bad.
creepy.
It's so creepy. And if I'm going for like ghost shit, there's this movie called The Room at the End of the Hall. I think that's the name of it. But I can't even remember the name of the goddamn movie, but I have watched it like 6 times over the last 3 months.
Since you're a horror
So-
movie aficionado, have you ever heard of a movie called The Fair-Haired Child?
Yeah, I actually have. I've heard of it, but I've never actually watched it.
You've got to watch it, and it's impossible to find. I'm going to go to Just Watch right now, and I like to throw out justwatch.com whenever I'm looking for stuff. Let's see, The Fair.
Don't forget the .com or you'll never find it.
Yes. World Wide Web .justwatch. See, it doesn't even come up.
HTTPS : //
It doesn't even come up on Just Watch.
No, it's that's so Fair Haired Child is one of those Masters of Horror compilation movies. It's got Lori Petty in it. And it looks like you might be able to get it on Amazon if you pay for it.
Let's see here. Well, it pops up on IMDb.
I found it.
And
No, I've seen this movie.
let's see more.
I've
watch
seen this movie. This
options.
movie's crazy.
Okay, you can watch it for free on Freevee right now on Screambox, Tubi, and you can rent it on Amazon and Prime Video for 99
Nice.
cents.
Freebie definitely sounds like it's going to give you a virus and kill your computer. Just saying.
Yeah.
But it's such a weird. It's low budget, but the fair-haired child or the demon child or whatever does that weird movement where she's like in a basement or whatever, and she has that weird like choppy movement that just freaks me out so much. You have to see it. It's so cool.
You're gonna have to look at that. So this came up on one of my other podcasts I listened to the other day that I had forgotten existed, and I kind of like almost yeeted myself into the sun when I was like, oh my god, I forgot about that. Pumpkinhead.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Pumpkinhead's
dude.
fucking great.
Lance Henriksen for the win.
Yes.
I would watch that dude read the phone book for 2 hours. Just give me anything with Lance Henriksen and I'm in.
I think that's probably my top 10, except if I'm really feeling like I want something funny horror, I'll watch Jason X. Because that shit's hilarious.
That's the space one, isn't it?
Yes, the space one. They bust out and they're like,
He
"Stop,
just
no,
wanted his
it's
machete.
okay. He just wants his machete back." It's like, Jesus Christ.
I did find a copy of Pumpkinhead on VHS, but it's at this little flea market down the road from me. Or one of those it's one of those flea markets where it's like you go in and it's like a bunch of like local people making arts and crafts and stuff. But they have this one booth that has cool stuff in it, cool VHS tapes, DVDs, like toys, things like that.
I know what you're talking about.
But he wants like 20 something, $30 for it. And I'm like, I'm not paying you $30 for that.
Yeah,
I think it's. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just completely irrelevant. That same stand you're talking about, he has a copy of Beastie Boys' License to Ill on cassette, which I I own. But I thought about buying it again because this is like in a little better condition. It was like $40 for it.
He wants way too much. It's like he looked on eBay and picked like whatever person had the highest asking price, and that's what he's asking for everything.
He's like, I can beat it.
Beastie Boys cassette. All right, J.J. Abrams, they're not that good.
I don't know, man. Beastie Boys is pretty fucking dope, though.
Yeah, Beastie Boys were okay.
Hey, dude.
This podcast is over, all right? If
We're
you'd
done
like
now.
to email us, you can email us at...
Dude, Sabotage by the Beastie Boys is one of the top 10 most hype songs of all time.
It's for real. It's for real. And J.J. Abrams puts it in every single one of his goddamn movies.
And as he should.
And intergalactic, okay? So you know you're watching an J.J. Abrams film if all of a sudden, out of nowhere, either Sabotage or Intergalactic starts playing. And you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Here I am again.
I'll take the Beastie Boys over Doves, John Woo.
Not that funny.
John Woo has Doves.
We're all like, oh, okay.
Does no one else know that? Like, it's Doves in all of John Woo's movies.
Please tell me more about this.
I think you're the only one who noticed.
Seriously? Did no one know this?
No.
No.
Yep.
Dude, Google it.
No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm good.
Mike, so I can help dig you out of this hole. What's like the first few horror movies that you watch every Halloween?
So I'm coming back into it because of Jay and because of this show. I grew up in the 80s watching all the classic ones. So I would have to go with, like Nightmare on Elm Street. We watched every summer with my dad, because they cracked them out every summer. So Nightmare on Elm Street for sure.
Dude, I just found a brand new unopened copy of Nightmare on Elm Street on DVD at Goodwill the other day. I was so happy.
Oh. But yeah, like Nightmare on Elm Street, the Jason movies, the classic slashers, because that's what I grew up watching. Or if I'm feeling fun, Shaun of the Dead is always.
Hell yeah.
Always.
Dude.
Yeah.
So clearly the requirements for Mike when it comes to horrors, it has to have tits.
Oh yeah.
So tits have got to be out.
100%.
Yeah, and then the rest of the plot is confusing. So there we go.
I mean, I don't have to have tits, but I'm also, certainly not going to like fast forward the scene.
Tits are a plus.
Tits
are a good plus.
If it fits the arc.
I do have to say that the 80s and their slasher fix had some of the best tits on screen.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
They really did, man. 80s was a horrible time for Bush, a great time for tits.
If you wanted full Bush, like Craig's mom style.
70s and 80s were your niche then.
The 80s. It was a time of full Bush.
We had a president named George Bush.
Yeah, two of them.
Coincidence? I think not.
I think not. Conspiracy theory.
All right, Jacob. So let us in on what you're watching this October.
Let's see. I actually like a lot of like the old school like Universal monster movies.
Yes.
So like some fucking Lon Chaney Jr. Wolfman.
Nice.
Some like old school like Bela Lugosi Dracula, 1931 Frankenstein, and I like the Friday the 13th movies, like the first three. So I'll watch like the first three Friday the 13th movies, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, it's a great movie.
I fucking love it. What else? Probably Poltergeist.
God damn.
Oh, I forgot about Poltergeist.
Listen, I can't even watch it, man. That movie scares the shit out of me.
Honestly, I like it because it's so like tame to me now that it's kind of just like a tradition where it's just like recreational.
Did you ever watch Poltergeist 2? Poltergeist 2?
Oh yeah.
Jason backed me up like that, vomiting the preacher.
I was just about to say, when he vomited, I turned it off when I was a kid. I was done. And I have not seen the rest of that movie because I haven't seen it since then. When I was a kid, me and my brother were watching it on a HBO at my grandparents' house. He vomits up the preacher, and I was like, nope, I'm done.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's when I turn it off too. I was trying to rewatch him. What was it, like 6 months ago, Mike? You remember? I was like, I watched the first one and I was scared, and then I started watching the second one, and I'm like, I'm doing it on a laptop, and Mike is sitting on the couch, and I'm like, it's coming. I know it's coming. Like it's right here. It's right here, and I gotta stop. And then as soon as it's happened, I'm like, nope, and I just walk away.
Well, the first one, just the TV version that they played on the ABC Sunday Night Movie when I was a kid wrecked me as a kid. Like, that movie terrified the hell out of me, and I did not watch it again until maybe 5-6 years ago. And I watched it. I was like,
dude, you didn't watch it for
30 years. You were like, nope.
Same with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I saw it as a kid.
What?
It destroyed me, and I didn't watch it again until I was an adult.
How? It's a wholesome, nice movie.
I hate that
Well,
movie.
now I know it is as an adult, but when I was a kid, I was like, they're gonna come get me.
Yeah. You see Jason just like making alien spaceships out of his mashed potatoes as a kid.
This means something.
I found a movie this like last month that I watched that I think is gonna make it into my horror catalog called Antlers. Have you guys seen Antlers?
I've seen the previews for that.
Dude, Antlers is fucking amazing. It's like a 9 out of 10 horror movie.
There's two I'm looking forward to.
I'll take your word for it. I'll give it a watch.
Definitely give it a watch, dude.
I want to hear what Jason's favorite.
But before we go into that, I just want to say, like, the movies that scared me as a kid, that just destroyed me as a child, were Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
For those of you who don't know, not a horror movie.
Yeah, it's not even a horror movie.
Family film.
E.T. scared me as a kid. I couldn't watch E.T. for years just because of that one scene where, like, he's out in the cornfield and, like, he shines the light on E.T. and he's like, like screaming. That's scary. Because I lived next to cornfields. I didn't want to go out there and see some weird looking
and then you grew up to look like E.T., which is just such irony.
But I didn't want to go outside at night anymore after that because I didn't want to see E.T. walking around in the corn. And what else scared me? Of course, Poltergeist and Gremlins. Gremlins made me sleep with the lights on until I was 13 years old.
Fucking Gremlins.
But it's so funny.
Dude, while I have a small child, I need to get like a really realistic Gremlins costume and put on her. And then just take her to your apartment and let her leave.
Yeah, you want me to drop kick a child in the face? That's what you want to happen?
Hey, you could get a Zach Galligan look like and dress her up as a gremlin, and then me and Jay can both punch him.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Zach Galligan, I know you hate him, Mike. Wally was talking to him online a few years ago, and he found out that I was the drummer for Fall as Well, and he's like, "Oh, I love Lazy Eye," and I'm like, "I don't fucking care, asshole. You scared me as a kid." But yeah, that was great. But I could watch horror movies, and they didn't do anything to me. Like, I loved Halloween 3 when I saw it on TV as a kid. I loved Night of the Creeps. Like, I could watch, like, Critters. I could watch all that kind of stuff, and that didn't bother me.
Here's what's funny. You are the exact opposite of me. Because the ones with specific targets, I could rationalize out. So, like, you're talking about Poltergeist scaring you. My parents didn't build anything on Indian burial ground. I'm good.
Yeah.
My parents didn't burn some pedophile in a fire. Freddy's not coming after me.
Yeah, but Freddy didn't scare me as a kid either. Like, Freddy, Jason, none of that scared me. That was all, like, I loved all that.
Like, the ones you're talking about you're cool with, those are the ones that scare me because I can't rationalize it. I can't be like, no, I'm safe.
But yeah, like, speaking of Halloween 3, that's going to be the first movie that gets put up on the docket when October hits. And if you don't like Halloween 3, then you're wrong.
And you're also half of this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else is on the docket? Of course, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Love that one too much. I love that. I mean, I've got the craziest show on earth thing here right behind me. I like to watch a lot of John Carpenter stuff during Halloween season. Of course, Halloween, the original Halloween, The Fog is great. And even though The Fog may not be the greatest movie, just something about the way that movie is shot, like the cinematography is, if I make a movie, I want it to look like The Fog.
So, like, you want no one to be able to see anything? It's a fog.
Dude, just go watch the movie. Don't be stupid.
It's a fog, dude.
Are you talking about the one that was in the 70s or early 80s, The Fog? Or are you talking about the remake?
I think it was 70. When did the first... Well, they did a remake in 2000s with the guy that played Clark in Smallville. They did a remake.
Tom Welling,
yeah. 1980 it came out. It's got Adrienne Barbeau, and it's got my boy Tom Atkins in it. It's got
of course.
let's see, it's got Jamie Lee Curtis in it. It's so good. It's
What's the
so
difference
good.
between the fog and the mist? Consistency.
Well, the fog is it's got dead you just have to watch it. Just watch it. I won't spoil it for you. The Mist.
One came out first, and
Yeah.
then someone's like, "I could write something."
Well, they
like
actually, when Stephen King wrote The Mist, it was actually they wrote him and John Carpenter wrote these at the same time for at two opposite ends of the country. Wrote this because they both saw fog one evening and were like, I could make a story out of that. So John Carpenter writes The Fog, and they're basically kind of the same, but Stephen King's is all about like different dimensions and like Cthulhu type creatures and stuff like that. But The Fog is more there are pirates and shit, like dead pirates in the fog.
It's like ghosts.
Yeah, ghosts
So,
and stuff.
Completely
like that.
different premise, and also I'm pretty sure that Stephen King was high as shit.
Yeah.
I don't know if John Carpenter was, but we can confirm that Stephen King was
definitely on a lot of coke, and he was very into alcoholism at this time.
It worked for him, okay? It worked for him.
And then we get such gems like It, where they had to cut out half of the back end of the book because we don't want to talk about that. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Fucking talk about some clown rape. Am I right? Anyways.
But if you're interested, Google how the kids get out of the sewer.
Don't Google it. No, just trust me. Don't do it.
Jason, you mentioned Carpenter, and I completely forgot The Thing.
Yeah, I was just about to say The Thing.
Piss out of me.
The Thing.
The Thing scared the crap out of me.
So good. The Thing, I'm sorry, is one of the best science fiction horror movies ever made. There is nothing wrong with that movie. It still holds up. You could watch it now, and it's just as good as the day it came out.
Yeah.
Agreed. I don't think you're going to get anyone to argue that.
Two big ones that I forgot about. I absolutely adore the entire Scream franchise.
Yes.
Because it's not even necessarily scary, but it's scary because of the fact that it's just like people and it can actually happen. Like there's no unrealistic anything about it. It's just like someone decided to kill a bunch of people and people do that. Okay. And a huge one, dude, Mississippi River Sharks. I mean, you want to talk about a masterpiece of a film. Mississippi River Sharks eats the thing alive, dude. 10 out of 10, perfect cinematography. All right?
I'm cutting off your camera and mic right now.
I reserve judgment because I've never heard of it, but the title alone makes me want to go.
Yeah.
Hey, one of these four peoples was in it.
Well, now I know it's not called.
It was Jason. It wasn't me. I wasn't in Mississippi River Sharks. Jason was.
Was he really?
But let's get back to John Carpenter movies. Of course, you gotta watch
Google?
They Live and my absolute favorite John Carpenter movie of all time, In the Mouth of Madness.
I didn't include They Live because I don't really consider it horror, but it is a great movie.
I still consider it a bit. It's got some horror, very much horror elements in it.
Yeah, Jason, you loaned me your DVD copy or one of your DVD copies of In the Mouth of Madness. And it's just like a really well put together film. Like I didn't find it scary at all, but it's just like a entertaining, like interesting, like science fiction-y, like occult, like supernatural horror movie.
Well, it's
I don't deny the quality of either. I didn't really consider, especially They Live, I didn't really consider it horror.
In the Mouth of Madness is just more one of those psychological horror type movies. Like it's got some weird Cthulhu type, horror elements to it, but you don't really see much in the movies. It's more like quick flashes it's like you get quick flashes of weird stuff, but it's just really it's more the psychological element of the movie, like what's real and what's not.
Yeah. Just like in The Fog, it's so hard to see anything.
Shut up.
Fog.
Just go
I feel
watch it.
I feel like Stephen King was just like The Fog. What if I made it but not as thick?
Hey, The Mist is still a good movie. Go watch it.
Yeah, but it's not as thick as The Fog. It's just the mist.
I'll show you something thick.
Dude, Jason, no! Jason! No, Daddy. No.
Incidentally, I have discovered Mississippi River. Is it Mississippi River sharks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you said mud sharks. Okay, I found
I
it.
said river sharks, motherfucker. I know what it is.
I'm pretty sure you said mud shark. But anyway, I found it. Sharks attack a fish rodeo on the Mississippi River.
Starring Jeremy London, I think. Is it
Jason
Jeremy or
London.
Jason?
Jason London. Yeah.
Which
Directed
I know.
by
I
Jeremy
only know
London.
because I had the IMDb pulled up. But yes.
Yeah. Wally's in it as well. Wally gets eaten by a shark.
No, he doesn't.
He
doesn't?
No.
I thought he did.
There's nowhere you could even like rent this.
No, there's not. I just mentioned it for a meme. I've tried several times to find somewhere to buy this movie. I fucking can't, dude. I can't find anywhere to get this movie. I saw like the last 20 minutes of it on the Sci-Fi Channel when they reshowed it, and I was like, "Holy fucking shit, there it is!" And I watched it just for the meme. Yeah,
We're gonna have to reach out to the Active Entertainment production company and find out who has the rights.
yeah. Maybe Jeremy London has a copy stored away somewhere.
He probably does in like somewhere around his garage or something.
Yeah, we
Like,
should
can
go
I, can
break
I
into
just go
Jeremy
into
London's
your garage and see if you got some shit in there?
So here's something that I like to watch, but I can only find it on YouTube, and I can't believe Disney has never put this on Disney Plus. But did you guys ever get to see Disney's Halloween Treat when you were a kid?
Yes. Oh,
Probably,
so good.
but I don't recognize the title.
It's where they took all like the scary parts of the movies and they kind of put like a big compilation together, and they've got like some of the shorts in there of like they do have the shorts, the one where Mickey Mouse, the Ghost Hunters, they've got that cartoon on Disney Plus. They've got the ones where Donald's Huey, Dewey, and Louie, they're trying to trick or treat, but Donald's being a dick, so they like hook up with a witch to get him back. They've got that on there, but all that was in Disney's Halloween Treat, and they took like clips from like Fantasia and stuff like that, and they even included like scenes from the Haunted Mansion and Disney World and put it all together in like this Halloween like compilation show, and they used to show it every single year when I was a kid, but now the only place you can find it is on YouTube.
So since we're talking about like Disney kind of stuff that you like, I have to tell you, there's this, you guys are gonna laugh at me so much. There's this fucking Halloween special that I watched as a kid that terrifies me to this day, and it's called Garfield's Halloween Adventure. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh my God. So like, okay, so it basically Odie and Garfield are going trick-or-treating, right? And Garfield is they're both dressed as pirates. I'm just spoiling it for you.
I think I remember seeing this.
I think we're okay.
Yes, and they get in this boat and
So
they,
far, so
they're
good.
like rowing out to this island, and there's only one house on the island. And when they get in there, there's this old guy, and he's telling them that the pirate ghosts are gonna come at midnight. And I don't remember how they get distracted, but they turn and the old guy has stolen their fucking boat and is like rowing to the other side of the island, like he's leaving their asses there. And the pirate ghosts come and like scare the shit out of them. That old man in the chair was the scariest part of this thing, and to this day I'm still shook by it. Like I can't watch it again. It was just terrifying.
What was this called?
Garfield's Halloween Adventure, and you'll probably need to look for season 1.
Yeah, it's when Garfield goes to a whole island of Mondays, and he's just like, "Oh no, my worst nightmare!"
Yeah, I can't.
And all
find
the
it.
lasagna is cold.
Here, I'll have to drop you guys like a chat or something, because I found an article on it, and there's like a still of the pirate ghost like scaring the crap out of Garfield and Odie, and I'm like, I remember that was like me behind my eyes, like, no, not Garfield.
Okay, I found it on YouTube. You can get to it on YouTube.
Nice.
So I might have to watch this later tonight. But speaking
There's
of,
gonna be a bunch of people watching that now.
yeah, they'd be
They're
like,
gonna take it down.
why did we just get a bunch of downloads all of a sudden?
You're welcome.
I do like to watch it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, every year.
Oh God,
too.
it's so
Oh
good.
yeah, but
Okay. Yeah,
Jacob's like, sure.
Jacob's like, yeah, whatever.
You know what we haven't mentioned, and I'm surprised no one here has? Evil Dead.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yes, Evil Dead 1, 2, and Army of Darkness.
yeah, dude. I fuck with Army of Darkness pretty hard.
Yeah.
I've actually still to this day never seen Evil Dead 2.
You should, because
should.
it's so much better than number 1.
He basically learns all his lessons from 1 and fixes it in 2.
That's the only one that I haven't seen. Is the best one because I just can't find it anywhere.
The way
it depends on what you're looking for, though, because like if you're considering comedy stuff, then Army of Darkness is my favorite, and that was also the first one I ever saw.
Yeah, me too.
well, the second one, the way that they explained how it was basically the first 20 minutes of the movie is basically a reimagining of the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why?
Because they couldn't get the rights to the first movie.
He did have the rights to his own freaking movie, so he couldn't do a recap or have it just go straight in.
Yeah. So basically, if you want to link the movies up, the end of part 1 is where he is being, where you see him like fly through the woods backwards. So if you want to just link up the movies right then, that's where they're supposed to like meet up at that, like at the end of part 1. And immediately into where he's like going through the woods backwards, all crazy, and he hits the tree and then falls into the puddle, and he's like breathing in all that nasty mud water.
He
which
stays there for like 3/4 of the day.
They could not have paid me enough to do that.
Because you know it was an effect. That was actual mud
Oh yeah,
water.
he had his face in like nasty mud water for like 5 minutes. But
and like Jay Thulu said, Jay Thulu, like that. It's a better version. The recap at the beginning, it's a better version. The reimagining, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I love the Evil Dead movies. I love that. What else? Something just popped in my head and then left again. Damn it.
I fuck with the live action Scooby Doo movies pretty hard.
I love Scooby Doo.
You know what?
Scooby Doo Monsters Unleashed.
I've never seen the live ones.
What?
Bro, why?
I
what
haven't.
the hell?
It's not an active decision. It's not like I said, fuck those movies. I just haven't seen them.
You should definitely watch Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed.
I love Matthew
amazing
movie. Lillard.
So
Lillard?
if you, Matthew Lillard, if you ever had a hard on though for Velma, these will just reaffirm your hard on for Velma.
Oh, dude, Linda Cardinelli as Velma.
So good.
Linda Cardinelli is just objectively hotter than Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Not a
I'm glad
contest.
no one disagrees.
I was going to say, did you think that was a hot take? Everyone's like, no, of course.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome, dude.
But did you guys watch that? It just came out on Disney Plus. Was it last year or year before? The Muppets, the Haunted Mansion Muppet movie.
Yeah,
I've never
I saw
seen that.
it.
I like it. It's really good.
The only Haunted Mansion movie I saw was the Eddie Murphy one.
That one?
Oh, dude. Hilarious movie. That creeped me the fuck out because there's that thing where like his son's afraid of spiders, and to save Eddie Murphy's life, he has to like reach his hand in somewhere to get to the doorknob or whatever. And I would have been like, dude, right then and there, we're all dying because I can't do that.
You know, speaking of houses, House 1 and 2, House 1 is just trippy as anything.
Yeah.
House 2 is fucking hilarious. There's a 3 and 4. Don't bother.
Don't do it. No.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, Hugh Laurie's all right. Like, I mean, he's a pretty good character actor. He's pretty method. No one got
House.
Yeah.
Hugh Laurie played House.
We're like everything.
Well, for a minute, I'm like, wait a second, was he in those movies?
Me too. I was thinking, I was like, where was he? Was he an extra? Wow, Jacob. Way to confuse a whole room full of old people.
Yeah. What do you? House is old, dude. Like, it's a reference you should get. House was on like 20 years ago.
Was it really? It can't be
Shut
that
your
far.
mouth. You know what?
Yeah, shut the fuck up, dude.
Hold on,
it really kind of is, and I hate Jacob.
House television series.
No. We don't need you to reaffirm that we're old.
I'm pretty sure it was like 2006, so you're coming up on 20 years.
2004. Yeah.
2004.
Yeah. 20 years ago, dude.
Wow.
You know what's
that means House is older than Jacob.
No. No, I was 4 when House came out.
You know what's a great movie to watch for October? Just head to go type in Monsters Anonymous. And,
here we
YouTube.
That's a good one.
You know, I almost plugged it a minute ago when we were talking about Mississippi River Sharks and the conversation shifted. I was like, I'll have to go back to it. Monsters Anonymous is great.
Yeah, dude, earlier when you mentioned something about like a master class in bad acting, I thought you were going to plug Monsters Anonymous.
Hey, you know who's awesome on that movie? The Devil.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Dude, that was my first thing when I watched it, is that Jason's acting as the devil was actually one of the highlights of the movie.
It was so good.
Like,
His
no
little
cap,
rant
for real,
at the
for real.
end was
The
like my
rant at
favorite
the end
thing.
is just chef's kiss. Just
Well, thank you. But I do have to throw this one out. What do you guys think about Trick or Treat?
Never seen it.
Dude, the best horror compilation ever. I mean, I love Creepshow. I love Creepshow so much, but I will watch Trick or Treat every single time over Creepshow. Great. It's a great fucking movie. So good.
I'd put it over that, and I'd put it over Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, Tales from the Crypt for sure. Tales from the Crypt wasn't really a movie, though. It was a show.
Yeah, but it was to me, I fold those together, compilation and the show, whatever.
I never fucked with either. I never thought Creepshow was ever that good.
Yeah,
Tales from the
because humor
Crypt was
porn in the
great
80s.
because I watched it at my dad's house and I thought I was getting away with something because occasionally it would show boobs.
Nice.
So it'd be like, I'd be like 11, 12 years old and it'd come on HBO and at my dad's house and like, shh, no one can see me watch this.
Yeah. This last Sunday, I was a guest on y'all's podcast, and we watched the original Fright Night.
Yes.
Jason, what's
Love
your
Fright
opinion on
Night.
the original Fright
I
Night?
love Fright Night.
Yes.
I
I
have
thought
it
it
on
was a
VHS,
horrible
son, and part 2.
Listen, he hated it.
I didn't
He
like
hated
it.
He
I
gave
gave
it
it
a
a
3.
Out of 10, yeah.
Jacob, you have no taste. You know
None.
that?
What are you talking about, dude?
But
I have
what kills
great
me is
taste.
every once in a while Jacob will throw some classic knowledge outside of his age range that gives me respect for him.
Yeah.
Right, and then dash
and then
it.
does something like this, and it just
Fucking trashing on Fright Night, which was a great movie.
And so he does that to me all the time. He'll have like you said, he'll have knowledge about some nugget of this awesome thing, and then immediately turns around and just shits all over everything. It's like, really?
Dude,
Thanks.
that's like me as a person, completely honestly. Because if you ever meet me, I have like Jeopardy level knowledge of this random bullshit that no one will ever know. And I'm one of the dumbest fucking people. I make the worst decisions in the goddamn world. I exist in both realms.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell too.
Yes,
Just
we're very
like
similar.
I win trivia night every single time we have it, but then people are like, do you want heart disease or a cheeseburger? And I'm like, give me the fucking cheeseburger right now.
Life's
okay.
too
Well, now you
short.
just tied it in with me. If we're including like those kind of choices, then you've just included me.
No,
We're all in.
I have a history degree, which just translates into I'm good at trivia. That's all it means.
Yeah, right.
That's all it means.
yeah,
It's like you finish your history degree, and it's like I learned the history of me making a mistake.
Yeah.
I
It
do
was a total
agree
mistake. Because
with
people are
Jacob.
like, were you going to teach? No. Then why'd you do it? Oh.
I do like to watch the classic monsters all the time too. I have like the whole Blu-ray collection. You know, the Dracula, the Mummy. My favorite is Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
I was
movie
gonna
so
say that
much.
too. I was like, that's my favorite monster right there.
And I don't know why. Well, I do know why that connected to me, but Swamp Thing.
Swamp
Oh,
Thing's
I
great
like-
too.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing's a bad movie. The original Swamp Thing from
Yeah.
like 82 or whatever. It's awful, but it's great at the same
Yeah.
So
time.
good.
Well, that's the beauty of horror movies is a lot of the good ones are bad.
You know, it was Wes Craven did that movie. He directed
Yeah.
that
Really?
movie.
Oh, good Wes Craven. Hills Have Eyes.
Ooh.
That's
The
what I
first
was going to
one.
get to
The
next. I
first
love
one.
the classic monsters, but 70s era horror, I don't like it. Like
Really?
The Hills Have Eyes, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time about 8 years ago, and I had nightmares for like 3 months after watching that movie.
That's a good sign of a good one.
Every
Now-
single night, I was dreaming about Leatherface running after me. I was
Now,
like,
I'm with you as far as I don't like Chainsaw, but Hills Have Eyes. It's one of my favorites.
I gotta know what you guys think about The Town That Dreaded Sundown. We were talking
I
about
haven't seen
70s, 80s hoarder. Fuck you, Mike.
Is that the
You
one
want me to
about
lie?
the?
It's great.
Is that the one about the scarecrow?
No. So the town that dreaded sundown it's a horror movie, but they took actual facts. There was a town in Texarkana, and I think it was in the 40s or 50s. Like some dude just went on a murder rampage for like a couple of days, wore a bag over his mask, and they were never able to find him. So the town that dreaded sundown like tells about those murders. I mean, of course it Hollywoods it up, but the creepiest thing is in the beginning, it's showing a pair of boots and they're all in line at the movie theater, and it's talking about how, back in whatever year this town was like terrorized, and at the end you see the boots walk out because they never found the guy, and you're just like, oh.
I was thinking of it just hit me, Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. That was what I was thinking of. That's a pretty
one of my
creepy
least
movie.
favorite Batman movies.
Yeah. That's a pretty creepy movie, but it's very, very low rent.
Dude, I actually don't hate the old Abbott and Costello Meet movies.
Yeah.
Like Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious.
Dude, Abbott and Costello's great. I will watch that anytime. Anything with Abbott and Costello.
All that
for sure.
slapstick comedy, like back in the day, was hilarious. Like I'll still watch some of the Three Stooges, even though it did not age well.
I have all the Three Stooges collections. Like after I got divorced, that's all I did for like a month was watch Three Stooges stuff in my apartment because I didn't have cable or anything yet. So all I had was my DVD. So all I watched was Three Stooges.
That's all your ex-wife left you.
Yeah.
She didn't like the Three Stooges, so she just left you that.
You went about funny, like classic and funny, Young Frankenstein.
Oh yeah.
Great one.
Anything Mel Brooks, dude. I would rim Mel Brooks's old wrinkly asshole, dude. He is just the best.
A treasure.
Yeah, Young
Did
Frankenstein's great.
Did you ever see Young Sherlock Holmes?
I haven't. No.
Yes,
I have not.
I have.
That was creepy. It was a creepy movie. It's a horror? Yeah, it's not really a horror, but it's really dark. So
it's weird.
I think you could classify it as a horror, and it's just really good. If you haven't seen it, see it. It's good.
Yeah, you wouldn't think of Sherlock Holmes being like horror, but the old school Hounds of Baskerville was pretty scary too.
Yes.
Because like they made it out like they're actual hellhounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Chris Columbus movie.
It is a Chris Columbus movie, though. You're still talking about Young Sherlock Holmes. We're talking about the Hounds of Baskerville.
Yeah,
the time.
I can see that. Yeah. I can see that being made into a horror though, because it's a pretty. I mean, even the original story is pretty spooky.
Are you talking about the Hounds of Baskerville now? I'm confused.
Yes.
Oh, I see you finally caught up.
So
this is what you get to hear on our shows.
Yeah. So in terms of like horror and like supernatural like TV shows, are there any of those that you guys frequent during the month of October?
I'm trying to think.
You can never go wrong with the X-Files.
The X-Files is good. Yeah.
X-Files was so great growing up.
You know that Shudder. I mean, I watched Shudder because I got AMC Plus and it came with it for free. But Shudder's got a lot of really good like horror-based shows. Like they've got a new Creep show. I'm trying to think. I was watching one the other day that was like real ghost stories. Like people were telling these ghost stories, but they had made them into like small productions, and that is scary as shit. Yeah, there's a couple of them out there. But if I have to really like pick one, I'm gonna go with Being Human, even though it's a drama, not really a horror.
But it's good. Both versions,
so
actually, both. That's one of the few examples of BBC and the American version being good. I don't know which one you've seen, but they're both great.
I've seen the American version, and I would let Sam Witwer use me as a rug.
Yeah, Star Killer, baby.
Yeah, I just started watching the Creep show on Shudder a couple of weeks ago. I like it. I got to find time to finish it because I'm watching so many things right now.
There's an episode in there, though. It's the one with the kids that they're like going they're going and looking for somebody. It looks like they're going trick-or-treating, but they're going like to specific houses, and it turns out like they were killed in a horrible fire because of some bullies or something. And I was like, retribution, love it.
The one thing I like about Shudder is they always put new stuff on every month. I mean, it kind of sucks because they take a lot off at the end of the month. I guess they only have so much room for everything. But, you know, like every month, if you follow Shudder on Twitter, they'll give you, you know, towards the end of the month, they'll give you the complete list of everything that's coming up the next month. And they did John Carpenter month like about 2 months ago, and I watched everything I could. Even though I have all of his stuff on DVD, I still was like, I'm going to watch all this on Shudder.
One of the movies that was on there last Christmas was called Silent Night, and it was like a Shudder production. It had Keira Knightley in it. That movie, I mean, it wasn't scary as in like there were like supernatural aspects and stuff to it, but that movie like shook me. Like I was like, whoa, because it was about like a deadly gas cloud that was like going over. So people
I've done a few of those.
That was Jacob's nickname in high school.
A deadly gas cloud. So the clouds like going, I mean, it's in the UK, but the clouds like going over the entire continent, and they're like the whole propaganda is saying that this is going to kill you. So they issue out suicide pills, and everybody's supposed to take it by like midnight on Christmas Eve. So it's like a whole group of people who are like friends or family get together for one last Christmas to beat the gas cloud. And I mean, it was sad, but it was like scary because it was like, what if that was like a real thing, that a gas cloud could kill us, like toxic chemicals could just like spill through like that. I was like, oh, but it's a great movie, and it came on last Christmas. I don't know if they're going to do it again this Christmas. It's called Silent Night.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great.
I'm fairly sure there's a horror movie that has that title as well.
There is. There's one called Silent Night, Deadly Night, but not exactly Silent Night.
Okay. I in terms of like TV shows, in October specifically, like all the affiliates that have the rights to show Supernatural reruns will show like the best episodes of Supernatural, so you can just like relive like all the hits through like every month.
I was gonna say season 1 and 2 of Supernatural sticks to pretty horror like.
Yeah.
It obviously in the 20,000 years the show was on, it gets more slapstick and more funny as you go on. But those first couple of seasons, there was some creepy. There was definitely creepy.
It was a little more drama than it was, you know. I mean, they kept the drama aspect, but it was a little more like weird drama. Then they got a new director, and it got way better, in my opinion. So I don't know. What's your favorite episode of Supernatural, Jacob?
Oh, good question. Well, like season 1 through 5. Or like when Supernatural was like at its peak, like everything after season 5, it's just angels and demons.
Yeah.
And
you watch it at that point just for their interaction, and you know they were just cool together.
Yeah, because once they fought God, it's like, where do you go from here? And then they went another 2 seasons where they're fighting like the darkness. Like, all right,
God's sister.
Yeah, it's like, we're gonna kill God's dad. Like, what are we doing? Just end it.
Yeah, you definitely reach a point where you're just watching it for the 3 of them interacting because it's great.
But great show though. I mean, I hung in there for how many seasons was it? 13?
15. Yeah.
It's a long time.
I hung in there too, dude, and it should have ended at season 8, and I hung in there for that long. My favorite episode, dude. Honestly, the first episode, which isn't the pilot. The pilot is where they fight the Lady of the Lake on the bridge. The first episode where they're in the woods and they're fighting a Wendigo.
Yes.
I fucking love Wendigos.
That was a great one. That was a good one.
I love that episode. Even when like at the end you get to 2005 CGI of like a horribly lit Wendigo dying, still good.
Still good. I think my favorite episode is the one where the ghost infects them with like the being scared, like the fear.
Yeah.
And like they keep having to like put Dean in places that he won't get afraid.
That's the one I was trying to think of. I was trying to look up which episode that was because
it's called.
That was the one where like wasn't the cat jumped out of the
and he's like,
and he runs off. I had to rewind that part like 10 times.
Yeah.
Any of the ones where they mess with him are great. Like him as a dog, that was a great episode.
Oh my God.
Man's
And like
best friend.
Jared Padalecki keeps throwing away the napkin and he's like picking it up and handing it back.
Yeah. There's also the one where he finds the rabbit foot charm. So he's just extremely lucky. So he like throws a remote at somebody and knocks a gun out of their hand and says, "I'm Batman."
But then at the end, when they lose it and he like gets all the bad luck too, is great.
Yeah. I lost my shoe.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
One of the things
Yeah,
I like to do is go back to like regular TV shows and watch the Halloween episodes of different television shows like The Office and like Scrubs and things like that.
Cosby Show.
Oh my God.
I just listened to your commentary yesterday, by the way. That was great.
Oh, yeah, that comes out on the regular feed sometime next week, so should be
Be a
around the
patron,
same
guys.
time.
Be a patron of this show, and you can listen to it right now.
Yeah, you can listen to it. Well, they won't hear this till next week anyway.
No.
But I was going to say my favorite X-Files episode to watch is Season 3, Episode 20, Jose Chung from Outer Space. And that's the one episode where it's like completely surreal, where like it's all about this writer who's writing about Mulder and Scully, and you just have to see it to experience it. It's really hard to explain.
Gotcha.
X-Files
Yeah,
is
that's a
show.
good, you definitely sold it for us.
Well, here's the description. It says Scully recounts the investigation of an alleged UFO encounter for a famous author researching its latest novel. And I just want to say that there are men in black in the episode, and one of the men in black is played by Jesse Ventura. That's all you got to know.
Is it, are one of them also played by Alex Trebek, or is that a different one?
I don't know. I think that might be a different one.
Yeah, because Alex Trebek played one of the men in black on X-Files.
It might be this episode.
He did like a few episodes, though. He did like 8 different episodes, I think.
He might be on this episode.
I'm a huge Jeopardy
Suck it,
fanboy.
Trebek.
Are you kidding? You're a huge. You are an Alex Trebek fan.
I watch Jeopardy. I have watched Jeopardy every single night since high school, since I was 14 years old.
And yet you
Like,
still
I
have not
clearly
love
learned
Jeopardy.
anything.
Jason clearly is a fan of what I am a fan of, which is the Saturday Night Live sketch, making
Yeah.
fun of
Yeah.
Celebrity Jeopardy.
I love that too. But dude, Jason, if me and you go head to head in just a general knowledge trivia, I would fucking smash you.
You would probably destroy me because I don't know any like general knowledge stuff. Like, but if it comes to pop culture, I'll kill you.
Oh, nah. I got you there too.
Oh,
We'll set this up. We'll have
All
our
right.
Sounds
unpaid
like-
intern
Let's do this.
write us questions.
Let's do
And
this.
I was
So
we'll-
gonna
we'll-
say it sounds like there's a Patreon content I need to do.
I know what
I,
next week's challenge or next month's challenge is going to be.
I actually, when I was in junior college, won a trivia tournament that they were holding at the college. And I won $100 from winning it. And the theme of the thing was Black History Month. And it was, I felt kind of bad because I was the one white dude that was up there. And I won the whole thing and got the money. And I was just like, history repeats itself once again, guys.
Oh no, Jacob.
Well, you know, me and Wally went all the way to Orlando because we were finalists to be on the pop World Series of Pop Culture.
Really?
Yeah,
I can see that with Wally.
1975?
Wally is an encyclopedia.
we almost
of shit.
made it. We got knocked out by a group called the Orlando Calrissians.
Oh my god.
I like the name. I got to say,
That's
I like the name.
amazing.
We should do like a regular thing where like me, you, and Wally test like pop culture trivia, and we can have BJ like write us trivia.
We could
questions,
do that for
'cause
a
he's, like, really
Patreon
into that.
episode every month.
Yeah, dude, let's do it. I'll text BJ right now.
Okay, I'm down with that.
All right. I'm gonna do it like this, so you guys know I'm not bluffing.
Well, we're coming up to the end of the episode. So what if you guys, let's start with Jen, if you could only have one movie to watch for October, everything else, like a genie pops up and says, you can only have one movie to watch during October now. Everything else goes away. What is the one movie you would save?
I would save Salem's Lot.
Ooh, wait.
Yeah,
We're talking about that Sunday.
The original Salem's Lot. Yes.
You know, that's like 3 hours long.
I love it. Love it. Watch it every time.
That's what keeps me from watching it again, is the
Because
fact
it's
that
3 hours long.
Yeah, it's like almost 4 hours long. I'm like, I don't know if I can do that.
I think if you watch it without commercials, it's not 3 hours long.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? What would you save?
I've got to go back to Shaun of the Dead. I don't want to lose Shaun of the
Oh
Dead.
my God.
You've got right
That's
on you.
true.
Oh, stop. Shaun of the Dead. By the way, we never mentioned, but Treehouse of Horror.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, from
We
The
were talking about-
Simpsons?
We were talking about Halloween episodes.
Yeah, some of those are actually really good.
Yeah, they are.
I would probably save Mississippi River Sharks. I don't want it to get lost. I think that it should probably go into the Library of Congress fairly soon. I don't know if Joe Biden particularly is a fan. Maybe when we get Donald Trump's library, he'll get Mississippi River Sharks in there.
That's the only thing that'll be in his.
Yeah, it's just Mississippi River
That
Sharks.
and cheeseburgers stapled to the wall.
Yeah. It's just not a single book, not a single fucking book.
It's
It's Mississippi River
It's
Sharks.
fucking Waffle House menus all over the walls.
With the all-star breakfast circled.
I just want to point out the bias here. I get crap for Shaun of the Dead, but he's totally cool with Mississippi Sharks.
Yeah, because it's a meme, Mike. Because all I do is memes, okay? It's all I've got. I can't be sincere.
All right, for my movie, just to spite Jacob and Jen, I'm going to keep Halloween 3.
Okay.
Who did not see that coming?
I swear to God, when the day that Tom Atkins dies, we're gonna have to
It's
seriously
gonna be crisis
console.
mode.
If you say anything bad about that man, we're gonna have problems.
I have nothing bad to say about him, but I'm going to tell you this. I thought he was dead until he was announced as a guest last year at Pensacon. It's literally one of those guests where I'm like, I see it, I was like, oh, he's still alive?
Well, it's
He looks like he's dead.
It's not far-fetched to think he'd be dead because God, he was like 50 back in the 80s.
I didn't realize in how many things he was in until we had that episode and had to watch Halloween 3. And then we watched My Bloody Valentine, the remake. And then it was like, is Tom Atkins in everything? And it sure is. He's like the white version of Tony Todd. He's in everything.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the dude been in everything. Let me just look up Tom Atkins and see what all.
Oh, dude, we're trying to end the show. It's gonna take 10 fucking minutes.
While he looks that up,
type it.
While he looks that up, Jason, I have a follow-up episode idea for this topic and this for you. I don't know our co-hosts know Doctor Who, but there are so many scary Doctor Who episodes.
Oh yeah,
like freaky, scary Doctor Who episodes. We could do a whole episode on that.
Ooh, dude, the whole thing with the silence. Those things are just fucking creepy, dude.
Blink
is one of the greatest episodes of all time. Hands down. All right, so we got Tom Atkins. He's, of course, in Halloween 3. He is in The Fog. And, he gets it on with Jamie Lee Curtis. He gets it on with everybody in every movie he's in because he's the great value Tom sells.
Except for that one. Except for that one. We saw one where he did not get laid.
He's in Night of the Creeps. Let's see. Oh, I didn't know he was in Drive Angry.
See, I thought he was just giving us a number of how many movies he's gonna read off.
Jesus Christ, he's like, he's in.
We're
he was even in the Fall Guy TV series. I gotta find those. He was in MASH. I've been watching MASH again lately. I need to watch.
Oh my God, he was in TJ Hooker.
I gave up on the episode, but I still say that the MASH movie is better than the show.
Dude,
he was in Lethal Weapon. He was in Lethal Weapon. See, he was in everything.
Yeah. How can you say MASH the movie is greater than the TV show? I just don't understand how.
Oh God, we're gonna be here for
because it's more than just a laugh line. It says something, and yes, I know the TV show does too, but it goes in the other direction. I prefer the movie.
I was like, are you done? Are you done?
I'm broken right now. I don't even know what to say to that. But that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you guys for for hanging out with us for this spooky Halloween kickoff episode. And so give us everybody your where they can find you on the interwebs. Start with Jen.
Oh no, yeah. So I'm gonna turn this over to my social media intern. His name is Mike.
You can find me Innsmouth Rag at Innsmouth Rag PC, and that's on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I actually don't know your new Twitter handle. I follow you, but you changed your handle, so you're
Linkosaurus Rex. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was gonna look that up. I know you changed it not too long ago.
And you can find me Jester8082 or Jester Courts Pod.
Jacob, what you got coming up? Anything?
Not much, man. Just stuff for the podcast. So in the month of October, we've got some cool guests coming on that you can see at openmicers.com. And we're also going to try to make it a regular thing to do a commentary track every month for our patrons. And for the challenge this month, I'm going to try to eat vegetables.
Oh my God.
I'm not looking forward to it. I'm going to throw up.
See, people who aren't like super fans of the show don't understand that is an actual challenge.
I'm going to puke on the Patreon, guys.
But like, what type of vegetables is it? Are you just going to eat like regular old carrots? Or
it's whatever Jason makes for me. Jason's going to make me a little surprise thing.
Jason, it has to be Brussels sprouts.
I was going to say Jason's borderline vegetarian, so I'm sure he's got some good stuff.
Oh, I got some good stuff I'm going to throw on his plate.
Eggplant.
No, I'm not big on eggplant. No, never been big on it. I like.
You don't have
could have fooled me.
Gonna have to cut that out. But I'm gonna throw some roasted Brussels sprouts at them. Some roasted. Let's see, what can I do? Maybe do some roasted squash and zucchini.
Everything you're naming is good stuff, though. Like, you got to get him stuff that's going to make him sick.
All of that's going to make him sick. Obviously, you can't even say the word eggplant without him grimacing.
It's just because he keeps thinking of a penis, though. It's not because of the eggplant.
Penis.
I rest my case.
A good eggplant parmesan I can eat, though. Like other than that, I've never been big on eggplant.
It's too alkali.
But yeah, that brings us to the end of the episode before Jacob says anything else incriminating or weird.
I'm getting sued.
Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you want to follow us, you can follow us at openmicers on Twitter and Instagram. Email us at openmicerspodcast@gmail.com. Patreon.com/ompodcast, where you can support the show every single month, and you get episodes early, and you get the extra episodes early, and you get to watch Jacob eat vegetables. And so hang out with us, go be a patron, and we'll see you guys next week.
Jacob, before you leave camera, you have to flash the belly button ring for.
Yeah, I'm
Jade.
still recording video, so.
Oh my God!
Because they aren't subscriing Patreon right now.
Holy crap! It really is there. Your belly button almost swallows it, though.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
You got to get one with like the little like dangly hearts or something.
I can't change it for 2 months, so it's another month until I can change
it.
It
somebody. It looks like somebody threw an earring onto a lump of pizza dough.
That they dropped on the floor.
I tried really hard to get her to shave my belly hair, and she wouldn't do it.
That's probably why I got infected.
Probably.
Oh, did it get infected?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I cleaned it. It might just be like how it healed, but I've been cleaning it really good. But it hurt like really bad for a while.
Well, we hope you stuck around long enough on YouTube to see that, and we will see you guys next week.
It's like a hidden track.